Jonathan Gray was living the dream. He had worked tirelessly, his mind constantly churning with innovative ideas. The bustling city was his playground, its energy fueling his ambition. GrayTech, his tech company, was his pride and joy. It had started small, just him and a dream in a cramped apartment. Now it occupied a gleaming skyscraper, a testament to Jonathan's hard work and ingenuity. Jonathan had become a self-made millionaire. He had everything he ever wanted: a beautiful penthouse apartment overlooking the city, a sleek sports car, and the respect of his peers. But more than the material possessions, it was the satisfaction of building something from nothing that truly fulfilled him. He had proven himself, not just to the world, but to the doubters who had dismissed his ambitions as youthful folly. Jonathan was known for his sharp mind and even sharper business acumen. He had a knack for spotting talent and inspiring his employees to push their boundaries. He fostered a culture of creativity and collaboration at GrayTech, making it one of the most sought-after workplaces in the city. His success, however, wasn't solely attributed to his business prowess. Jonathan possessed an unwavering moral compass, a commitment to ethical practices that set him apart in the cutthroat world of tech. He believed in using technology to make a positive impact, to solve real-world problems. This philosophy was at the heart of GrayTech, woven into the fabric of its very existence. Little did he know that this very foundation, the principles he held so dear, would be shaken to their core, leaving him questioning everything he thought he knew.
Jonathan, there's been some fraudulent activity. Your partner...
Jonathan's world came crashing down with a single phone call. It was his lawyer, his voice trembling with a mix of disbelief and anger. The words hung in the air, each syllable a hammer blow to Jonathan's gut. His partner, his friend, the person he had trusted implicitly, had been systematically siphoning funds, forging documents, building a house of cards on a foundation of deceit. The news hit Jonathan like a physical blow. He felt dizzy, the world around him tilting on its axis. His initial reaction was disbelief. It couldn't be true. His partner, his confidant, the person he had celebrated every triumph and weathered every storm with, had betrayed him in the worst way possible. But the evidence was irrefutable, laid out before him in black and white, a damning indictment of a trust shattered. GrayTech, his creation, his legacy, was crumbling before his eyes. The company's stock plummeted, investors panicked, and the once gleaming facade of success was stripped away, revealing the rot that lay beneath. The very foundation upon which Jonathan had built his life had been compromised, leaving him feeling lost and adrift in a sea of uncertainty. The city, once a symbol of his ambition and achievement, now felt like a cruel reminder of his downfall. The weight of the betrayal was crushing. Jonathan felt a deep sense of shame, questioning his judgment, his ability to read people, to differentiate between genuine loyalty and carefully constructed facades. He withdrew from everything and everyone, the vibrant energy of the city replaced by the stifling silence of his own thoughts. The isolation was all-consuming, a prison of his own making. The penthouse apartment, once a symbol of his success, now felt like a gilded cage. The city lights, once a source of inspiration, now mocked him with their distant, indifferent glow. Jonathan found himself retreating further into himself, seeking solace in solitude, but finding only the echoing emptiness of his own thoughts. Days blurred into nights, the outside world fading into a distant hum as he grappled with the enormity of his loss. Depression, like a suffocating fog, descended upon him, clouding his judgment, sapping his energy. The things that once brought him joy, work, innovation, the thrill of the deal, now seemed meaningless, distant echoes of a life that no longer felt like his own. The phone calls from concerned friends and colleagues went unanswered, their voices grating on his raw nerves. He couldn't bear to face them, to see the pity in their eyes, the unspoken questions that hung heavy in the air. He was adrift in a sea of self-doubt and recrimination, the once unshakable belief in himself shattered. The betrayal had cut deep, leaving him wary of human connection, of the vulnerability that came with opening oneself up to others. He retreated further into his shell, seeking refuge in the cold comfort of isolation. The world outside continued to spin, but Jonathan felt frozen in time, trapped in a cycle of despair and self-loathing. His once impeccable appearance became disheveled, his clothes rumpled, his eyes shadowed with fatigue and despair. The spark that had once defined him, the boundless energy and infectious enthusiasm had dimmed, replaced by a weary cynicism that seemed to permeate his very being. Jonathan Gray, the visionary entrepreneur, the self-made millionaire, had vanished, leaving behind a hollow shell, a ghost haunting the opulent prison of his own making. One afternoon, a single envelope arrived, a beacon of unexpected hope amidst the debris of Jonathan's shattered life. It was a simple white envelope with a handwritten address, the return address bearing the name of a local charitable organization. He almost tossed it aside, his interest in the outside world non-existent. But something, perhaps a flicker of curiosity or a subconscious yearning for connection, compelled him to open it. The letter was handwritten, the words penned in a neat, elegant script. It spoke of hope, of second chances, of the power of human connection to heal even the deepest wounds. The organization, it explained, was hosting a gala, a night dedicated to raising funds for those who had fallen on hard times, those who had lost their way and were struggling to find their footing again. Jonathan scoffed, cynicism twisting his features. What could these people possibly know about his pain, about the depths of his despair? He almost discarded the letter, ready to retreat back into the familiar comfort of his self-imposed isolation. But something held him back. Perhaps it was the sincerity in the handwritten words, the genuine desire to help that resonated from the page. Or maybe it was the realization that he couldn't continue to hide from the world, to wallow in his own misery. Whatever the reason, he found himself rereading the letter, a glimmer of curiosity flickering within him. The gala was being held at a local art gallery, a place Jonathan had always admired for its commitment to showcasing the work of emerging artists. He had even considered, in his former life, becoming a patron, using his wealth to support the arts. The thought brought a wry smile to his lips, a fleeting reminder of a time when he had believed in something bigger than himself, a time before his world had been turned upside down. Maybe, just maybe, he thought, attending this gala wouldn't be such a bad idea after all. The art gallery buzzed with a quiet energy. Jonathan, dressed in a simple, dark suit, felt a familiar pang of unease as he stepped inside. It was the first time he had ventured out for anything other than essentials in months. The faces in the crowd were a blur of smiles and polite conversation, a stark contrast to the isolation he had embraced for so long. He felt a surge of panic, the urge to turn and flee back to the safety of his empty apartment almost overwhelming. But he stayed rooted to the spot, his gaze drawn to a nearby painting. It was an abstract piece, a riot of colors and textures. Yet within the chaos, Jonathan sensed a strange sense of peace. He found himself drawn into the canvas, captivated by the interplay of light and shadow, the raw emotion that seemed to emanate from the brushstrokes. For the first time in months, his mind wasn't consumed by his own problems.
As the evening progressed, Jonathan found himself listening to the stories of those who had overcome incredible hardships. There was a young woman who had battled a life-threatening illness, her spirit unbroken despite the challenges she had faced. There was a single father who had dedicated his life to raising his children after his wife's untimely death. And there was an elderly man who had lost everything in a fire but had found the strength to rebuild his life, brick by brick. Their stories, filled with resilience, hope, and an unwavering belief in the human spirit, resonated deeply with Jonathan. He realized that his own pain, while significant, did not define him. He was not alone in his suffering. There were others who had faced adversity head-on and emerged stronger, their spirits unbroken. As the evening drew to a close, Jonathan felt a glimmer of hope ignite within him, a faint ember in the ashes of his former life. He had taken the first tentative step toward healing, toward reclaiming his life.
The road to recovery was long and arduous, but Jonathan embraced it with a newfound determination. The first step was reaching out, breaking free from the self-imposed isolation that had held him captive for so long. He started small, a phone call to a friend he hadn't spoken to in months. a hesitant invitation to meet for coffee. Each interaction, though initially awkward and tinged with guilt, chipped away at the wall he had erected around himself. He reconnected with his family, realizing that in his pursuit of success, he had neglected the very people who had always been there for him. Their unconditional love and support, a warm embrace after a long journey in the cold, reminded him of the true meaning of connection. He started taking walks in the park, breathing in the fresh air, feeling the sun on his face. The city, once a symbol of his failure, began to feel alive again, its energy no longer mocking but invigorating.
Volunteering became his therapy. He dedicated his time to mentoring young entrepreneurs at a local community center, sharing his knowledge and experience, guiding them to navigate the often treacherous waters of the business world. Their youthful enthusiasm, their unwavering belief in their dreams, was infectious, reminding Jonathan of the passion that had once burned so brightly within him. In helping others, he found a sense of purpose, a reason to get up each morning. He rediscovered his love for technology, not as a means to an end, but as a tool to effect positive change. He started sketching out ideas for a new company, one built on the principles of ethical innovation, transparency, and social responsibility. He envisioned a company that would use technology to solve real-world problems, to empower individuals, and to make a tangible difference in the world. This time, he wouldn't be driven by the pursuit of wealth or recognition, but by a deeper purpose, a desire to leave a legacy that went beyond the balance sheet.
Jonathan called his new venture Phoenix Tech, a testament to his own journey of rising from the ashes of adversity. He poured his heart and soul into the company, his passion reignited, his vision clear. Phoenix Tech would be different, he vowed. It would be a company built on integrity, where ethical practices were not just a tagline, but the very foundation upon which every decision was made. He assembled a small but dedicated team, individuals who shared his passion for using technology for good. Transparency was paramount. Jonathan insisted on open communication within the company, fostering a culture of trust and collaboration. He wanted his employees to feel valued, to be an integral part of the Phoenix Tech family. He implemented profit-sharing initiatives, ensuring that everyone benefited from the company's success. He also established a foundation dedicated to supporting education and innovation in underserved communities, believing that everyone, regardless of their background, deserved the opportunity to reach their full potential. Phoenix Tech's mission resonated with investors and consumers alike. Jonathan's story, his journey of resilience and redemption, became intertwined with the company's narrative. People were drawn to his authenticity, his commitment to ethical practices, and his unwavering belief in the power of technology to effect positive change. Phoenix Tech flourished, its growth fueled by a combination of innovative products, a loyal customer base, and a deep-seated commitment to social responsibility. Jonathan had not only rebuilt his life, but had created something even stronger, more meaningful than before. Phoenix Tech was more than just a company. It was a reflection of Jonathan's transformed self, a testament to his unwavering spirit and his belief in the power of second chances. He had emerged from the crucible of adversity stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to make a positive impact on the world. While Jonathan had achieved a measure of success and fulfillment with Phoenix Tech, a part of him still grappled with the shadows of his past. The betrayal by his former partner continued to haunt him, a constant reminder of his own vulnerability, his misplaced trust. He realized that true healing required confronting his demons, acknowledging the pain and anger he had suppressed for so long.
The betrayal, the lies, they were like a shadow over every step I took.
He sought professional help, finding solace in the safe space of a therapist's office. Through therapy, he began to unravel the layers of hurt and resentment, to understand the root of his anger. He learned to forgive himself for his past mistakes, to acknowledge that he had been deceived, but that it did not diminish his worth or his ability to trust again. It was a slow and often painful process, but with each session, Jonathan felt a weight lifting from his shoulders, a sense of peace settling within him.
Forgiveness isn't about condoning my actions, it's about freeing yourself.
The therapist helped him to see that forgiveness wasn't about condoning his former partner's actions, but about freeing himself from the grip of the past. It was about acknowledging the pain, learning from the experience, and moving forward with a renewed sense of hope and purpose. Jonathan realized that holding on to anger and resentment was only hurting himself, preventing him from fully embracing the joy and happiness that life had to offer.
Let go of the bitterness, Jonathan. Embrace the possibility of a brighter future.
He began to understand that forgiveness was not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of incredible strength and courage. It was about choosing to let go of the bitterness and anger that had been poisoning his soul, to break free from the chains of the past and embrace the possibility of a brighter future. It was about reclaiming his power, not as a victim, but as a survivor. The decision to forgive his former partner was not an easy one. It went against every fiber of his being, every instinct that screamed for retribution, for justice. But Jonathan knew that clinging to anger would only perpetuate the cycle of pain. He had to find a way to let go, to release the bitterness that had taken root in his heart. He began writing letters to his former partner, pouring out his hurt, his anger, his confusion. He didn't send the letters, knowing that they were more for him than for the recipient. It was a cathartic process, allowing him to confront his emotions, to acknowledge the depth of his pain. As he wrote, he realized that forgiveness wasn't about condoning his former partner's actions, but about freeing himself from the grip of the past. It was about acknowledging the pain, learning from the experience, and moving forward with a renewed sense of hope and purpose. Jonathan realized that holding on to anger and resentment was only hurting himself, preventing him from fully embracing the joy and happiness that life had to offer. He began to understand that forgiveness was not a sign of weakness, but rather an act of incredible strength and courage. It was about choosing to let go of the bitterness and anger that had been poisoning his soul, to break free from the chains of the past and embrace the possibility of a brighter future. It was about reclaiming his power, not as a victim, but as a survivor. The act of forgiveness, Jonathan discovered, was not for the faint of heart. It required immense courage, a willingness to confront one's deepest wounds and emerge from the other side, scarred but whole. It was a journey of self-discovery, of confronting his own demons and emerging from the darkness stronger and more compassionate than before. Jonathan's story is a testament to the transformative power of forgiveness, a reminder that even in the face of profound betrayal, there is always hope for healing and redemption. Jonathan's story, his fall from grace, his descent into despair, and his eventual rise from the ashes, became a beacon of hope for others. He shared his experiences through speaking engagements, inspiring others to confront their own challenges with courage and resilience. His message resonated with audiences, his authenticity, his willingness to be vulnerable, touching the hearts of many. He became a sought-after mentor, guiding others through their own journeys of adversity, offering support, encouragement, and a listening ear. He established a foundation dedicated to supporting mental health initiatives, recognizing the importance of seeking help and breaking down the stigma surrounding mental illness. He poured his resources into funding research, providing access to affordable therapy, and raising awareness about the importance of mental well-being. Jonathan's story became a testament to the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most daunting obstacles. He never forgot the lessons he had learned during his darkest hours, the importance of human connection, the transformative power of forgiveness, and the unwavering belief in the possibility of second chances. Jonathan Gray, the once broken millionaire, had emerged from the crucible of adversity as a symbol of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all. His legacy extended far beyond the boardrooms of Phoenix Tech. He had become a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, and a testament to the transformative power of the human spirit. Through his mentorship, his philanthropy, and his unwavering commitment to making the world a better place, Jonathan Gray's story continued to inspire countless others to embrace their own journeys, to rise above adversity, and to live lives filled with purpose and meaning. Jonathan's story spread. It resonated with those who had faced their own hardships. He became a symbol of hope. People found strength in his resilience. His journey proved that even from the deepest despair, one could rise again. Jonathan's message was simple yet profound. Embrace vulnerability, seek help when needed, and never underestimate the power of forgiveness. He reminded everyone that failure was not the opposite of success, but a stepping stone on the path towards it. He inspired countless individuals to rewrite their own narratives, to find meaning and purpose even in the face of adversity. His story became a beacon of hope, a testament to the indomitable spirit that resides within us all. Jonathan Gray's journey was a powerful reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always light to be found, and that within each of us lies the potential for extraordinary resilience, compassion, and growth.